So Eric Cantor has found a new job after his primary defeat in June, where you ask, well, if you guessed Wall Street, you'd be correct. Yes, Eric Cantor has joined an investment bank called Moelis & Company, according to CEO Ken Moelis. Quote, Eric has proven himself to be a pro-business advocate and one who will enhance our boardroom discussions with CEOs and senior management as we help them navigate their most important strategic decisions. That right there, kind of utter bullshit. Eric Cantor doesn't know anything about markets. He never worked on Wall Street, but he sure knows a thing about helping out his friends on Wall Street. In fact, NPR notes that, quote, Cantor does not have a Wall Street background, but was considered a friend of Wall Street while he served in Congress. Interesting. How much of a friend? How much of a friend was he? Well, in 2012, Cantor received over $900,000 in legal bribes from securities and investment firms. Oh, what a good friend. And over $3 million from Wall Street firms since 2001. His entire career in Congress has been bankrolled by banks. Interesting. Now, like I said, he did the bidding of Wall Street, and for a $1.2 million incentive payment to become an advisor at Moelis. Now, he's going to do even more for that firm now. So you're probably wondering, well, wait, since he doesn't have a background in Wall Street markets, why give him this money? What can he do for the company? Well, it's because of his connections. He's connected. He's got friends in Washington and will eventually probably run back to Washington to go and serve those same donors. This right there is the classic revolving door.
It is the basic revolving door. And what makes it worse about Cantor is that he gave all those speeches about how he's honored to be a congressman, and he immediately resigned once his paycheck got reduced and jumped to Wall Street. Like, he didn't even finish out his term. Like, last time I checked, congressmen are elected for 2 years, and he got out of there as fast as possible.
Here's the funny thing. You don't need a background in Wall Street to go to Wall Street. Fun fact, a lot of the CEOs of companies are morons. They don't do any of the work there. They're basically figureheads. The work is done by board chairs and other lower or high-ranking management positions. It's not done by the CEOs. So there's a lot of people on Wall Street who really don't have much of a background in business per se. So this isn't that unusual. I mean, it's unusual in that he's an outside, like a full-fledged outsider coming into the scene, but people who don't really understand business on Wall Street isn't all that unusual. As we've learned since the 2008 crash, a lot of them didn't know how to actually do proper business.
They knew how to do proper business, they just didn't care. And we'll also point out, like, that he's not a CEO. Like, he's here to, supposedly, according to the job description, he's here to to be making business decisions. So let's apply this principle to everything else. I'm a huge NASCAR fan, and so I just want to let Dale Earnhardt Jr. know right now, I have no experience driving a stock car, but I am a friend of NASCAR. And if that's the criteria, there's no one more qualified than me. Let me fill in for you next week. You're already in the chase. Take the week off. Let me do this. No, it's idiotic. You don't do business that way. You put those two things together. You put a guy who doesn't have a background in business, who has no experience doing all the things that the smokescreen of a job description says he's there to do, and he's somebody who left office as soon as his zenith was over. And it's clear, like, this is what coming to Congress was to him. It was to build his own brand, make himself as sellable as he possibly could to live a wealthy rest of his life. And he realized once he got voted out, or once he lost his primary, there was no need to waste the rest of his term, because it was all downhill after that. All he was going to do was tarnish his brand. So he said, forget the public, forget everybody that I supposedly was here to serve, forget all these ideals that I supposedly believed in. I'm leaving now I'm in my prime. It's all downhill from here. This is where I'm going to get the best signing bonus. It's like whenever a quarterback has a bad bowl game, his last college game, and blows a big lead, like happened to Ryan Mallett for Arkansas a few years back, and he went from a first-round draft pick to a third-round draft pick. That's what Cantor saw the writing on the wall. He realized that was coming, and so he got out while he could because he doesn't give a darn about the people that he was elected to serve.
Exactly. He's going to serve his real donors, his real constituents, the people he actually cares about, and the people who give him the most money and will always give him the most money. Once again, at a point at that $1.2 million incentive payment. Who gets an incentive payment like that, other than people who are connected into government and who are connected, between Wall Street and government? And look, he had two options of where he was going to go. He was either going to go, to K Street or do this. So, I mean, this is exactly where he went.
My whole thing was just that it's so frustrating that he doesn't have any experience. As you guys have no doubt said, he's got no experience in working in business. He worked previously for his father's estates company, like making estates trading and doing a bit of law on that side. But he's got no experience. If he'd had some experience working on Wall Street or K Street for a couple of years, then went into politics, and now he's gone back, that's fine. At least you can make that sort of argument. It's still egregious, and he's going to give favors and stuff, but there's some credibility to that. The fact he's got no experience, he's a complete novice. It's like saying, oh well, I've given some favors to, I know, kind of the astronauts or to NASA, so now I'm going to go fly the space shuttle. No, you've got no experience in flying the space shuttle. What the hell are they doing you giving a job as an astronaut? It's absolutely ridiculous.